Hi and welcome to the Cult TV Sofa. This is a reaction video of the 18th episode of Season 2 of Babylon 5 called Confessions and Lamentations. You can see the full reaction for this YouTube video on my Patreon channel along with lots of other goodies. Links are in the description below. Last time we saw an old friend of Londo's visit the station. John went exploring in a section of the station that has a reputation for strange things happening. He found a body on the floor, and whilst trying to call it in, the body grabbed his face and something seemed to be transferred to him. Londo's friend reveals that he's about to be accused of treason and he and his family will lose everything. Londo said he would look into this and resolve the problem. John started to get visions and see things that weren't there. Londo tells his friend that he's spoken to Lord Reefer and solved the problem, but his friend reveals that it was Reefer that brought the charges in the first place, and then challenges Londo to a duel to the death. John realizes that he's possessed by an alien that wants to return home, and he does just that. During the duel, Londo's friend lets him kill him. The winner takes over the other's house, so it'll protect his wife and family from the action that's been taken. So let's see what happens in this episode. I'm going to put any relevant trivia that I find over here, and at the end of the reaction I'll be discussing what happened and my thoughts about it. And I'm going to start it in 3, 2, 1.
We've got a Marcab transport almost 10 hours overdue, so I'd like to send a flight of Star Furies out to our last known position, see if there's a problem.
Better to be sure, I agree.
Some time ago, Kefir saw, or thought he saw something in hyperspace, so he's been spending some of his free time looking for it.
Oh god, it's a bit of a throwback. That was ages ago.
I want all freelance expeditions curbed from now on. His fighter is to be recharged and ready to go within the hour.
I mean, yeah, it's not good that he's doing unofficial trips. I mean, it's not going to be cheap to... Although he said recharge the Star Fury, so I wonder what powers them. But whatever, I was thinking fuel, but however they operate, it still costs money and resources to get them going. So yeah, unofficial trips, not a good idea. But yeah, that so Kef, there's the episode where that ship got damaged in hyperspace, and then they used the multiple Star Furies to build a chain for the ship to follow back to the jump gate, and Kefir saw the shadow ship. So it looks like he's been doing trips out there and sort of exploring, seeing what's going on, trying to see what happened.
Station policy. All deaths have to be verified by station personnel, even in cases of death by natural causes.
Okay.
We do have jurisdiction over our own kind, you know.
Okay. Hadn't thought of that. So there's obviously the med bay, and they do have aliens going into med bay, but there are also doctors on board for each species, certainly for Markup species anyway, who seem to look after their own, which would make sense because they know their own species. But I wonder if they have access to med lab resources to look after their people. Not sure. You'd hope they'd be shared. Yeah, I wonder how that works. You think there'd be like shared resources so that they can they have their own little area or where they can do examinations of their own people and stuff, because they are going to know their own people better than Dr. Franklin or any other Earth doctor. So it would make sense for their own species to examine them. But you only ever see Earth personnel in med lab, so it does imply that that doesn't happen. Wonder if there's like little rooms where they do their own examinations and things, like a little doctor's surgery. I don't know.
This is not about courtesy, it's not about respect. Right? Nobody knows Marcab biology better than you do.
Yeah.
This is the 4th dead Marcab in 3 days. Arrange for the deceased to be transferred to MedLab for a routine autopsy. Something here doesn't add up.
That seems fair. And they said it was a Marcab ship that's not responding. So you got 4 dead Marcab in the last 3 days, and a Marcab ship that's not responding. So that's not a good sign.
Lieutenant?
Put your knuckles
The
out.
captain wants a moratorium
Gonna get
on your little
wrapped.
expeditions into hyperspace. There's something out there. There's also something in here. The something in here is me giving you a
Commander,
If there's some part of that sentence that you don't understand,
Yeah.
Lieutenant.
Surprised she did that in front of everyone. He's the leader of the that particular squadron. So it's not a great thing to sort of chew him out in front of them. Although I suppose it did start off as just a quick, don't go out anymore. He's the one who kind of turned it into an order and sort of generated that kind of situation, I suppose. But not great to do it in front of everyone. Undermines him.
And you spent the last 2 days preparing the meal.
2 days.
for a meal with such an honored guest, there are rituals and traditions. If an error is made, the entire meal must be abandoned and must begin again from scratch.
4 minutes of the microwave, I'm done.
Well, I mean, it smells great.
Better enjoy it.
What? What's wrong?
As there are rituals to follow in
There's
preparing of this
rituals
nature,
to
there are
eat
other
in.
rituals we must observe in eating. Otherwise, the food is no longer sanctified, and Manir must begin all over again.
Which wouldn't go down too well.
Certainly wouldn't want that, would we?
No.
And then we offer a portion of our meal to the one who prepared it.
Well, that's...
It is then tradition.
You wouldn't. He keeps going to eat, but they've already said there's rituals and things, and they're starting to do them. You wouldn't just assume it's over. You wait until you get the nod that now you can begin. That's a bit unrealistic.
For the guest to set aside one piece of flarn in the memory of Valen.
Hope Valen likes flan.
We must now wait for a few moments before eating again. In between, we meditate upon food.
Should have eaten before he arrived.
Carti, I repeat, this is Zeta Squadron dispatch from Babylon 5 to investigate your situation. Do you require assistance?
That's going to be a yes. Silence.
How many are aboard?
Registering no life signs aboard the target vessel.
Ah.
Check again. There are supposed to be over 200 Marcabs on board that thing.
Confirmed. Detecting 200 life forms.
Yeah, they're all dead. So what's the doctor going to find in the autopsy? Something from that look.
MedLab 2, this is Dr. Franklin.
That's not good. He's got gloves on, and they're in like an examination room, and he's wearing kind of sterile, I assume for the future, sterile stuff. But he touched that communication device with his finger. So if he has got anything on his hands from the autopsy, it's going to be transferred to that. So if they don't clean that regularly, then there's going to be transference. What's the word? When you transfer... it's right at the tip of my tongue. It's not coming, but transference of things from one body to another, which could mess up investigations and autopsies. It might be that they have some kind of automated sterilization process. It might be when he leaves the room, sort of, I don't know, lasers shine everywhere and burn off all any bugs, but it's still not great. It's going to really annoy me that I can't remember that word. Contamination! That's the word I'm looking for.
We're bringing the transport in for inspection. Recommend full medical team. I got an ugly feeling about this.
Scale looks a bit weird For the size of the ship compared to the size of the Star Furies. There's had to be 200 odd people on that ship. And the size of the windows doesn't look quite right. The ship should be bigger in relation to the Star Furies.
Captain,
He's meditated himself to sleep.
you were asleep.
No, I wasn't.
The ritual of the meal was concluded some moments before you began meditating.
Well, thank you once again for your invitation.
We must do it again.
Yes.
Lily didn't look too happy with that idea.
The ship you have commandeered is Markab property. I cannot allow your people inside.
They were all killed by some kind of plague or infectious disease that was brought onto the station by your people. Now, I want to know how terminal and how contagious.
Ooh.
It is 100% terminal. Oof. And 100% contagious.
That's pretty bad. And it was first discovered on Earth in 2020 and 2021.
This plague is spreading through your people like wildfire.
It is not something we talk about.
Yeah, it might... What if it's contagious to other species as well?
The disease only appeared once before, centuries ago, in a small island on our world noted for certain excesses.
Why didn't it spread?
They were isolated by weather for nearly a year. Used to frighten children into behaving. Be good, or the Dark Angel will bring you the curse of Drappa. Only the immoral would ever be touched by it.
Oh dear, I'm in trouble.
By then, several of them had become infected, but because they believed that they were moral, they were sure they would not be touched.
As did all the others, and it spread.
Each new infection was accompanied by silence and fear and the assumption that they were immune.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's we've seen. That's the way that people think. Oh, it won't hurt. I won't get it. It won't hurt me. I'm healthy. I'm young. Even if I do get it, I'll be fine. It all adds to the spreading of it, though, and it's worse for everyone.
Our leaders were afraid the people would take the disease as a sign from the gods that we had fallen from grace. They were afraid they would be voted out for attacking the public good. They were afraid.
That's the thing. There's a lot of stigma about a disease or something like that. Yeah, they all just ignore it. Hope it goes away, but it's not.
Is there any indication as to whether or not the disease is infectious beyond your own species?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I do not know.
Yeah, that's a bad thing. They put possibly every other species at risk.
Papa, Mama sent me to find you.
Oh, he's dead.
Papa? Nicole! Papa? Papa, wake up! Papa!
And it's 100% contagious and 100% deadly, which means she's probably got it.
Once symptoms appear, the patient expires inside 24 hours.
Oof. And there's no cure?
No, not yet. If it's physically transmitted, we might have a chance at containment. If it's airborne, given that all the air in here is recycled.
Recycled air. You gotta shut it down, shut the station down. No one leaves or arrives.
Now, more importantly, we have to find someone who is infected before the disease becomes terminal so we can follow its progress.
No ships will be allowed to leave until we determine just how far this disease is likely to spread.
Are we going to tell people why they can't
Right
leave?
thing to do. Ooh.
I don't think we have a choice.
Ooh, that's gonna cause panic.
If it turns out that the disease is not transmissible
Right.
to other species, then confining them to one area will only speed up the infection.
What if it's not airborne? What if it is by touch, though?
Repeating our announcement. No ship will be allowed to depart Babylon.
Yeah, panic. Thing is, they say about confining the Markab to one area is going to speed things up. But we've seen they've got large gardens and areas of farmland and all sorts of big open spaces. We see them in the background. Why not confine them to that kind of area? It's nice and open, plenty of space. It's not like they're crammed into a room. Set up some sort of tents or something, you know, emergency accommodation kind of things. That keeps them confined and breathing as much free air as possible.
This way, please.
Yeah, people are going to attack them out of fear.
I will not have my people treated in this fashion. Poked, prodded, accused.
He's got to protect the station.
Perhaps it is your own immorality that has contaminated us. We are gathering together in an isolation zone, away from others.
So they're doing it themselves.
First, our test confirmed the disease is airborne. Second, I found a dead Pakmara. No signs of violence.
Is it the plague?
Won't know until we do an autopsy. But I wanted to warn you.
It's jump species. Doesn't... even if it does jump, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be 100% fatal to other species. But...
We need to start a full autopsy before the body goes further into rigor mortis. We're instituting full biohazard routines, but I'll still need you to go in and... What? What is it?
They don't want to go in there.
I have the most experience with the disease. I will go into the isolab and perform the autopsy. It will give me a chance to do some good, Stephen.
That's a big thing to do.
Some of the more extreme human and alien groups say that they found a solution to the problem. Wipe out the Markabs, you wipe out the problem.
I have been monitoring the situation, and I would like to make a request.
Ambassador, we can't let anyone off this station.
I would like to be allowed into the isolation zone.
They're not your own people, Delenn.
I didn't know that similarity was required for the exercise of compassion.
She said she wanted a favour. He immediately assumed she wanted to get off the station away from the plague, whereas she actually wants to go straight into the heart of it to comfort those who are afflicted.
You will be exposing yourself to massive contamination.
That is true.
If I let you into that isolation zone, I can't let you out again.
Yeah, she'd be in a concentrated area of all the Markab. You would have to keep her in there.
When I do see you again, call me John.
All your fault! What did you do, huh? Why did you bring this here?
Oh, of course it's going to be humans doing it. Even though he thinks he could be at risk, he still helped him, carried him. Why would they... I know it's done for an effect, but why would they have rooms like that on the station with doors like that? It's like a huge vault, like a safe. It doesn't seem practical. I say it is for an effect, because you just by seeing a door like that, you know they're going into an enclosed room with no way out, and it is like a vault, a secure place, but it's not practical. How are they going to be? Will they be accepted though by the Markab? Being a different species? If they find this illness so private. Stims to keep him going.
And everyone's looking for someone to blame. Same old story.
He's got a sore throat.
Choose whichever strategy makes least sense, and then do it. Lazarus.
It's dizzy.
Well, there's your person to analyse. I mean, there's so many people crammed into that tiny room. Well, tiny space.
She is separated from her mother. Please find her.
How?
What is her name?
Mama.
Faith manages.
Well, you gotta hope that if she's missing her mother, that the mother's missing the daughter, so she'll be frantically trying to find her. She'll look for somebody who's frantic.
500 per 1,000 and dropping.
Neurotransmission efficiency?
Down 15%.
They've Dr. Franklin, like me, is looking unshaven. They do that quite a lot. When they did it in the other episode where John was excuse me, interrogated Mr. Morden for 10 hours or so. He looks a bit unshaven as well. It's good because it gives you that impression that they've been doing this for a long time. He's taken stims to stay awake. He's, you know, putting everything into this all his time. He hasn't had time to sleep or care for himself. So that's a nice attention to detail.
Sometimes the test is not to find the answer, it's to see how you react when you realize there is no answer.
In Star Trek terms, that's the Kobayashi Maru scenario. It's a scenario that everyone has to go, all the cadets have to go through. There is no way to solve it. It's just how you deal with the defeat is basically the lesson, because at some stage everyone goes through defeat.
We just got the results of the Pakmar autopsy. It's the plague. It jumped species.
Well, Pakmar are carrion eaters. Did they eat a Markab?
When I was a child, I once visited the city with my family and became separated from my parents.
Don't think I ever lost my parents when I was little. Not that I remember, so I can't be traumatised by it if ever did. They might have tried to dump me somewhere and do a runner a few times, but I don't think I ever lost them. I always found them again. They can't leave me that easily.
Chanel? Mama!
I don't think I can stay any longer. Will you give my love to...
Cross-analysis between Markab yellow cells and Pakmara green cells complete.
Match found. So what does that mean?
The risk is confined to those races that use specialized cells to manufacture the chemicals used in neural relays. Now, fortunately, our bodies don't work that way. But given a chance, the disease could mutate into something that could affect us all if we don't stop it now. Those who receive the injections, over time, will produce stronger cells that are capable of withstanding the disease.
But they'll still have the disease.
I've prepared enough for 500 doses to start, but we will have to hurry.
But yeah, that would mean that they'd still have the disease, though. They'd probably still be contagious. It's just that they'd be, it's supposed to be like equivalent of HIV. You still have the disease. You're still contagious, but you can live with it. But in this case, as he said, as long as you get regular dose of the medicine, but over time they'll get stronger and more resilient to the disease. But they're all dead. I can't imagine what it's like for them being in a room, seeing them all die one by one, and then being in the room with them all dead. Especially for a race that cares about life so much. They're going to need some counselling.
Is there anyone? Anyone at all?
No.
Called him John.
The entire planetary population has been wiped out by the plague. For all intents and purposes, the Markab civilization has been destroyed.
Hey, what do you call 2 billion dead Markabs? Planetary redecorating.
You better hope he doesn't get ill soon, because I don't think he's going to get much medical care. They've written off the entire race. I mean, from the sounds of it, it does sound like most of them are gone, but they said there are Markab on colonies and things. You'd think they would try and, I don't know, find the Markab on wherever they are and try and get them together, obviously inoculate them. If they'd accept it, I mean, if they see the disease as retribution, they might not take the the medicine because they think they don't need it because they're not, they haven't done anything wrong. But to try and get them together to try recreate the race, I don't quite know what I mean. But if all the Marcab who are surviving are scattered around, yeah, they are going to die out. It would just make more sense for them to sort of regroup, hopefully try and restart the race, help them survive a bit. Well, that was a well-timed episode with what's going on with us at the moment. Very sad episode. To see them, they kept it secret. If they'd asked for help sooner, I'll say a cure, but certainly medication to help them could have been found and they could have survived. Didn't ask for help, they kept it all hidden away, and that's what led to their demise. But it was also quite selfish, though, that it could jump. It can jump to the Pac Marat, and over time it could jump to other species. So it was that's not good that they kept it hidden for multiple reasons. I mean, Lanier and Delenn are going to need a lot of help and assistance after that. There's no way they're going to be okay after being in that situation. And was it a natural reoccurrence of the disease, or was it instigated by someone or something with everything that's going on at the moment? Who knows? Yeah, so sad episode, powerful episode, especially at the moment. Yeah, let me know what you thought about this one in the comments below, and I shall see you for the next one. Be seeing you.